Thank you, Congressman Cook. We go to Dina, Titus, Lovetta.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to agree with Mr. Cook. I appreciate your optimism, Mr. Merton. You've said it in your opening statement, and now that we have these great bonds and that nothing is more important than our relationship down there. But actually, history tells a very different story. Our relations with Latin America over the years at best have been benign neglect, and at worst have been shoring up, either with troops or resources, governments that practice state terrorism. Now we are ripping children from the arms of their parents, and current policy is so bad and relations so abominable that the OAS recently unanimously passed a resolution condemning our behavior. So I don't really think that's anything to brag about. I would go back to something, though, that was discussed hours ago. You brought up, Ms. Lynch, that we have a policy that tends towards self-sufficiency, but there are other players in the region who have a policy that's more about dependency. This worries me because I have seen it all over the world. We have seen it in Southeast Asia, we see it in Africa, we see it in Eastern Europe. The U.S. pulls back, we create a power vacuum, in moves Russia, in moves China, and now certainly there are examples of that in Latin America. We heard about the tanks that Russia is selling in Latin America. We know that they're increasingly meddling politically and economically through propaganda. I wonder, have you asked the president if he's going to bring this up with Mr. Putin when he meets with him next week, that this could be causing a problem, the tanks and the other activities? They've supplied a global navigation satellite system in Managua. They've got joint counter-narcotics center there. I mean, they're moving in when we're not doing much. Also, let's be specific about China. Latin America is now their second largest destination for Chinese investment, and they are the largest trading partner for Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Peru. So this is not something minor. They're putting $2 billion into the ports in Peru as part of a $10 billion Chinese investment in energy, mining, and shipping, and telecommunications. So even if it is creating dependency, when they are offering those kind of things, it's kind of hard for us to compete with it or counter it with the policy, as you described, Mr. Merton, of telling them it's not a good idea to do this in the long run. Well, they're interested in the short run. So I would say, in addition to having talked to the president about Russia's involvement, how can we possibly compete when we have a diminishing budget? USAID, they want to cut that back all the time. It's already very small. We've got kind of a demoralized, understaffed State Department. You've got a president who insults our allies. You've got a policy of zero tolerance at the border. How can we compete with the competition down there to build those strong relations that we need?
Well, I do think we do have strong relations, and we have a history of engagement. We have a history of shared values with all the countries in the hemisphere, and particularly our close neighbors, Canada, Mexico, Caribbean countries. We have diaspora communities here in this country who contribute to our national well-being. So I think that we have a lot to offer. We also have, aside from all the good things that our colleagues at USAID are doing throughout the hemisphere, and our colleagues from the state INL are doing, we also have a very vibrant private sector, and I think that while our private sector does well exporting and trading with Latin America, we also have a lot of investment there, and I think that is a good vector of bringing economic opportunity and hopefully hope to these places.
Well, I agree with that, and I think the USAID does a wonderful job. I think they're one of the best agencies. We get more from them by giving them less than any agency I can think of. But as far as the commercial aspect, we're not even being very helpful there, because the one party in this Congress doesn't even support the Import-Export Bank, which would help with some of the investment there. So on what front are we really being successful? And I know you have to answer that in a positive way, and I appreciate that, and I'd like to be optimistic too, but I think we need to be realistic as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.